Launching broadcast.
Broadcast has been launched.
Casting broads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like Hollywood in the 40s.
Ah.
Okay.
What's that?
I don't know. I've been watching The Last Tycoon lately. Although I think that was the 30s. Is anyone, nobody's, nobody watched the Prime Video? Okay.
No.
Nope.
I'm not getting our video feed.
No, same here.
No video feed. What do you mean?
I just got
live, but I'm just getting that little speaker image.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a 30-second delay.
What? Oh, there it is.
30-second delay. I mean, it's live, but it's a slight delay, tape delay.
Live to tape.
So if I say boobies, that'll get bleeped.
No, we don't have the technology.
Oh,
For that.
well, I don't
We
understand
have
the point.
technology.
I don't understand the point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy. Greg, enough with the erasure. Enough with the
This
erasure.
just happened to be on my playlist. That's all. What do you want from me?
Can't stop.
Can't
Sorry.
stop the feeling.
Can't stop, won't stop.
You watched the Trolls movie? Much?
Ugh.
I've watched that movie at least 3 times. Not
Yeah.
because I wanted to.
Sure.
Mostly just because,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kids.
How is Trolls?
It's not,
okay.
it's not super, like, it's not offensively bad.
Okay.
It's got moments where it's legitimately funny.
Yes.
Okay.
Like Guy Diamond, I think he's the one who always farts glitter. That's pretty funny.
Yep.
My kids get
That's
a good
true.
laugh at that every time. And the songs are good. The
Oh
songs
yeah.
are good. Yeah, which, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. So, they managed to work gorillas in there at one point.
What? Like
So-
they
Well,
fight
it's
the
Justin
trolls?
Timberlake, right?
It's Justin Timberlake, yeah.
Justin Timberlake was the music director, yeah, but they aren't all Justin Timberlake songs.
Just most of them.
Just most of them.
Yeah, that guy knows what he's doing.
He's had a hit or two,
He came
I've
up
heard
in the
of
Mickey Mouse Club. He
Yeah,
knows his
He
stuff.
knows. He paid his dues.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
boy. That's right, Justin. You got it all figured out, don't you?
Your Mickey Mouse sounds like he's on cocaine or something.
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's good.
All right.
I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Now it's time to erase that mistake.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That got dark quick.
That did. Yeah.
Mickey Mouse in the new RoboCop reboot.
Falling on hard times.
Oh boy.
Had to kill Bob Morton.
That's right. The new version of RoboCop will have every part played by Mickey Mouse. Can you fly, Bobby? What are you, a college
Wait,
boy or something?
I need to hear bitches leave in Mickey Mouse's voice.
Bitches leave.
There you go.
Oh boy.
Man, I
You must
can't
think you're
believe
pretty smart, don't you? Think you can
Can't believe-
outsmart a bullet?
Mr. Foreman was that mean.
Well, you know,
That's right. All right.
bitches leave. Oh boy.
Episode 562 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, all the way from Canada, a man who can't stop listening to Erasure, Mr. Greg Stewart. Hello.
I blame Robot Unicorn Attack.
As well, you should.
I had forgotten about Erasure. Actually, I gotta go a little further with that. I'd forgotten about Erasure until Robot Unicorn Attack, and then Jim Sterling plays that particular song, "Chains of Love," once in a while on his channel. I think mostly to mess with the trademark
algorithm.
copyright strikes. Yeah,
Mm.
but I love that song.
That's a great song.
fun, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Indeed, they have a new album.
do they really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they're still alive.
They never stopped. They never stopped.
They can't stop the feeling.
Exactly. All right. And joining us from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald. Hello.
Great.
Hey,
Hello.
CJ.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? You know what? Honestly, it's not going that great.
No?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Well,
You know, it's August.
I've heard.
Summertime. Summertime is running out.
yeah.
So the wife and I decided we would have a party with some of our neighbors,
Yeah.
an island-themed party.
Oh no.
And we went and we bought a shitload of tiki torches. And now I don't know what to do.
Stop.
It's
I
not
think,
that kind of
is what you
party.
do.
Just
Like-
scream at everyone who walks in.
We can't have the party now because we're going to look like Nazis.
Uh-huh.
And if I try taking them back, the guy at the
They've ruined luau's for everyone.
the guy at the Fred Meyers is going to think that I'm a Nazi who just doesn't have enough friends.
No, he's gonna say he's just worried
That
about
sounds like such a hardship for you.
You want them?
Now we're all going to get murdered.
I got no reason to have. You want them?
They don't mean any. You're close to Canada. Just go up to Canada and have the party.
Now you see my dilemma.
Clearly.
What a day.
Well, that was fun. All right. From California, yay. I would say a better state than Washington, clearly.
Wow.
We have Mr. Ethan Einhorn. Hello.
Oh, I'm amazed you guys have been able to pull me away from Splatoon 2, but I can take a break for a couple hours. I think.
Can I
I
take
mean,
a guess? Can I take a guess? Are your children playing Splatoon 2 right now?
My daughter very well may be. Yes.
Online, perhaps?
We can tell.
Possibly.
Connection speed.
Because you're
Ah,
connected.
nice.
Crap.
As someone who has had connection speed problems, I feel for you.
It's an
Anyway.
embarrassing thing to talk about.
I'll
but,
feel
yeah.
you in Vegas.
Yikes.
Hamina.
Speaking of which, that's coming up. Scoopfest
Scoop Fest!
17th. That's right. The weekend of September 23rd. Our little live shows there at noon on Saturday, September 23rd. That's what
For all you early risers,
That's when we're
We're-
doing it.
We're starting. We're leading. We're the
We're
first.
we're the
We're
opening
the
act.
opening act, so no pressure or anything.
No.
Oh, my
Um,
goodness.
Actually, it's probably better that we're let's be honest.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have a special promo code for listeners of the Player One podcast if they want to save
What?
10%. 10 whole percent on tickets to Scoopfest.
Our listeners can save?
They can save.
CJ,
God.
tell us how.
Save. Well, you go to the website heyscoops.com.
Yeah. I'm going there right now.
Yeah. / shop. And
Slash shop.
you, when you're purchasing your ticket to Scoopfest, use the promo code baldness, and you'll receive 10% off your purchase.
says the one guy with hair. That's you're self-serving, CJ.
Let's see.
Right.
Let's be honest. The one guy with some hair. We don't see
Yeah.
the back of CJ's head all that often.
Yeah.
You want to see the back? Well,
Let's see. Rotate it
Yeah,
around.
rotate. Come on.
you'll get to see it live at Scoopfest. That's
Let's see.
that's a
Oh,
teaser for
that's-
the
there we
listeners.
go. There you go.
Every
Yeah, actually, there was a team photo of us all playing Halo back during the EGM days, and it was shot from behind. And that's the first time I ever even realized I had a bald spot. That was lovely to find that out in the pages of my favorite magazine.
There
we
you
all
go.
knew. We just didn't want to tell you.
Yep.
That's right.
Everyone who comes to Scoopfest gets to go home with one
Phil.
of CJ's hair.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm
You get to pluck one
Live shaving.
for your
Well,
own.
For this. There we go.
Oh, there you go. It's
No,
crap I
no
had.
one's touching this hair.
It's crap I had.
That's right. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see some folks there. It'll be a lot of fun.
God, I hope
We're all-
so. That would be embarrassing.
We're all bringing our Switches so we can play Splatoon and whatnot.
I wonder if that still
Wait.
works.
with folks. Yeah. Mario Kart.
I will guarantee that I'll be raising the brows and ire of anyone at the casinos because, of course, I'll happily join you guys on the show floors, but I won't play any of the games. But I will have my Switch with me to play instead of the video slots and the craps and all.
How embarrassing is this going to be walking to the show with Ethan with him just yelling uncapped spending, gambling mechanics as we go through
Listen,
the casino
just-
hotels.
That's the way I walk through a casino all the time, though.
Look at all this
do the
uncapped
same.
spending.
Unrelated. Player One founders meeting after the show. Just
Okay. Good idea. Wait, am I in on that?
No,
I wasn't technically a founder. Oh,
No.
boy. Oh boy.
it's all this side of the table.
I should have come in 9 episodes sooner. I'd be in on this secret meeting.
We'll
It's
do
not
our
about-
secret meetings next to the Candy Crush slots. In Vegas.
It's not about you, Phil.
Oh, good. Oh,
All right. Well, we hope to see some people there, but let's get on to the rest of the show. How about that? You like that?
Sure,
This
let's
week
do
is a big week for games. Big releases. We got
This
Sonic
month.
Mania
yeah.
on Tuesday.
Yes.
The animated intro cutscene for that leaked. It looks amazing.
Did it
I-
leak or was that officially released?
Well, people leaked it and then they released it officially because they were like, "Well, people already took a movie of it."
I have not
Let's
watched
stick
it.
it up on YouTube.
I
It
watched-
looks great.
I watched part of it and realized this looks too good. I don't want to see this on just a computer or anything like that. I actually want to see this for the first time all the way through as I'm getting ready to play the game. So I turned it off.
And boy,
But
am
it
I
looks
hoping
re-
that's a midnight Monday release. I hope I don't have to wait till the next day for that.
Well, let me ask you: are you getting it for Switch or are you getting it for?
Oh, it's Ethan.
PlayStation?
Come on.
Switch, yeah.
Come on.
It probably won't be. I'm guessing it won't be a midnight release for Switch, and will be a midnight release on PS4. Maybe. Did they do digital pre-orders for PS4? If they did, then it's midnight.
I
Definitely.
don't know if they did or not because I actually pre-ordered mine on PC. I'll be playing it on Steam.
That's
There you go.
weird,
Which was
man.
delayed, right?
It's
Oh, yeah,
delayed,
that's right.
The PC
Oh, is it?
version comes
Yeah.
out a few weeks later.
Now I have to see if I actually did order it on the PC because my special edition is has already shipped.
Oh,
What?
Well, you get a code.
Yeah, I
though.
know that. I know that.
So that probably
I
works.
know
to-
that, man.
You're maybe not going to be able to play it until. then.
Yeah.
Son of a.
You may be buying it on console as well as PC, it turns out.
No, I can. I'm a big boy. I can wait. I can wait a week or two.
But it's
As
Sonic.
we're talking about it, as we're
Sonic.
spoiling it for you.
It's Sonic. It's Sega.
Dude,
You don't want to play some Sonic on your Nintendo?
I'm not.
but yeah,
spending. I'm not spending. I'm not buying the same game twice on release week. That's your job.
Well, speaking of buying the same game twice, let's talk Night Trap.
Night Trap.
That doesn't count because the last time I bought that game was like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. And Limited Run Games had their physical copy of Night Trap go up on sale last Friday at 10 a.m. I was there with my mouse hand ready to click as soon as that thing went live, and I was luckily able to secure a copy of the non-collector's edition, just the regular physical edition.
You weren't lucky, ZJ. You were skilled.
I was skilled. Yes, that's
You were
right.
skilled enough. You were fast enough.
Fast enough on the clicks.
You
Yeah.
understood the system.
I had registered for a limited run account a week before and saw that they allowed payment via Amazon.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, when I click to add the copy to my cart, I'm going to go immediately just pay with Amazon and be done with it. And that's what I did. And it worked out perfectly well for me. Unfortunately, it did not work out perfectly well for others. But I believe we all, except maybe Ethan, got our physical copy of Night Trap.
Yes.
Yep.
Ethan, did you not pre-order this one? Not interested in the Night Trap?
No, I didn't get this just because the limited run stuff I've done has been all Vita stuff.
not on Vita. He doesn't care if it's
So,
not
yeah.
on Vita.
That's right.
That was the first limited run game I'd ever ordered, and
Same.
wow, I was freaked because I hear so many nightmarish stories about not being able to get. And I mean, knowing how fast limited edition anything sells out on the internet,
Sure.
where it's like it was like the first batch was like 2,500 copies.
Yeah.
It's like 2 seconds in internet time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
So-
lasted
Yeah.
a minute
It lasted
Did it?
a minute. Yeah.
or two.
Anyway, I managed to get one too, but I was at work and I didn't have all my passwords for various payment
geez.
methods. So what I ended up
Oops.
doing was actually putting my credit card on my clipboard on my computer so that I
Oh,
could just
jeez.
copy paste it into the.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah. So But I managed to get that, and they were actually selling it. I think they might still have in stock the Blu-ray of the fantastic documentary that the My Life in Gaming guys did. So
yes, they do still have it in stock.
I grabbed one of those as well, because that is great. If you haven't watched that, you should check it out.
Yeah.
The
Available on YouTube.
Yes,
but also
available for free on YouTube. But you can get a
but
Blu-ray copy if you want.
support the My Life in Gaming.
True. Yes.
Picking up a copy of the Blu-ray. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I've ordered, I believe, 5 limited run games, and I've always gotten the games. I've never had them sell out from under me. So
Okay.
I don't know if I'm
Me
just
too.
that good. I
think
don't
you're
know.
lucky.
Lucky 5 times in a row?
No, I wouldn't say
Those are-
that. If you actually do it when they have open, if you're there on time, you're fine. I've always been fine. The only time I've ever had to even go to the second run later in the day is when I just forgot or got there an hour late or something in the first run.
Yeah. I like that they do that. I like that they split
Yeah.
it up. Because back a few years ago, I don't know, that Mondo prints site that does all those cool like collectible posters that are
Don't they do
super
records
limited.
now too, or something like that?
They do
or-
records and they do figures and they do a lot of other stuff
Right.
now. But when they're doing posters, there were a lot of them that I was like, oh man, I wish I could get that. This is gonna be so awesome. And I only have one of those. I was only ever able to actually get one. So
I
passed me by.
I was able to get 2 copies of Night Trap. I don't mind saying.
Yeah.
I took a chance actually as I was
Took a chance.
as I was moving my cursor up to the quantity to click it from 1 to 2. I was thinking to myself, am I wasting too much time? Is this going to cost me my game?
Yeah.
But boom, I was able to get 2 copies.
Which was apparently not supposed to be possible. They actually tweeted about that later because it was supposed to be 1 per.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Well, they changed it after the first batch.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But I thought they were going to go back and check on all those orders that were 2 copies and more. But I don't know.
Well, I'm going to make a sweet profit. So
And I mean that's noble.
Right.
actually, no. You know what? And I was going to surprise you with this on the show, but I ratted it out to you guys earlier just because
You did.
I didn't want you to think that I was just a jerk, but
I don't think that, Phil.
that I was a dirty scalper. No, you know why? The reason I bought a second copy of Night Trap is because Greg Seward, if that is your real name, I'm going to be bringing it to Scoopfest, and I will be donating it to you so that you can auction it off later this year during your holiday charity work.
That a boy.
During all of your extra life.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I figure you can sit on that. Well, don't literally sit on it,
No, that'll break it.
Yeah.
because
Especially if I sit on it.
no one's gonna want to buy a warm and moist copy of Night Trap. I mean,
There might be some.
you could probably sell it back
There were
to me.
there were some titillating scenes in that game.
Oh my!
Oh.
When that auger comes out of the shower and she's wearing that little negligee and just humming that.
Who knew an auger would look that good in a negligee, right?
Oh my gosh! I couldn't believe
Seriously. I might I
In
might end up
HD.
getting mine in the packaging and buying the digital copy.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Sit on it for a couple months, Stuart. Let its value appreciate, and then auction it off,
Awesome.
or give it away or something during one of your streams.
I think it would
yeah.
drive more donations if I just auctioned it. Yeah.
You
There
should
you go.
totally do that.
Mm.
So that's
Thanks,
you know,
Phil.
that's free money for you and the sick kids because
I love it.
because I care.
Speaking
Okay.
of that,
Greg.
I did an extra life stream this past week and
Oh, yeah?
raised a little over $100.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was cool. I'm up for 1,200 raised so far this year.
Dang.
Nice.
Nice.
Congrats.
Thank you to everybody who hung out and donated.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome. I'm sure we'll be talking about that game a little later.
Yes.
In fact.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, in the news, we got a new Jeff Minter game coming.
Uh-oh.
This time, he's teaming up with Atari to do
Again.
Tempest 4000.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's
Jeff-
real. It's happening.
Jeff, one trick pony Minter. apparently.
Hey, Tempest is a great game.
It's
Legitimately.
returning to the
Oh,
Tempest
hey.
well.
Tempest 2000 is still one of my favorite games.
It is a great game.
Absolutely.
I joke.
How it's different than like TX or anything like that. Because
Which
hasn't
one?
he just recently done that?
Like TXK
TKX? Yeah,
TXK.
that's what I meant.
TXK. Oh my
for
gosh.
the PlayStation Vita. And that, I believe he couldn't bring that to other platforms because Atari threatened to sue him. now he's making Tempest 4000 with Atari
There we
with
go.
their blessing. So that's fine with me if it's as good as TXK was, because that game is awesome. I will totally
It
be
is great.
buying that. Yeah.
Just reminded me the way you put that. Just reminded me of like the trailer for Coupon the movie. Exciting and mandatory.
That's right.
Doesn't Jeff Minter hate you, CJ?
Yeah, what did I say? I said something about one of his games.
Yeah, like didn't you
on-
insult Space Giraffe or something like that?
I may have.
And he's really like not a fan of yours now.
I'm sure he forgot by
Really?
this point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude holds a grudge from what I've
heard. Say, he's probably got a list like Arya Stark. CJ's right at the top.
But I bought TXK and I'll probably buy Tempest 4000. It's going to be good.
But isn't it going to be on the new Atari console?
But I didn't buy Polybius and I didn't buy Space. Well, I bought Space Draft, but I was dissatisfied. with Space
Oh
Draft.
man.
Was
So-
long
Yeah, that
enough for
was not a
CJ.
good one.
But I'm sure it's fine. I'll just do a little bleeding on air and it'll be fine, right?
Ugh.
Bleating, not
I
bleeding.
don't even know. I don't even know what I feel anymore.
Exactly.
Dude's got
All
a
right.
llama carcass nailed up in his house with your name carved in it.
Probably.
That's where
Yeah.
the list lives.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Speaking of deaths, let's talk about this Hellblade thing.
I've got to play this. This sounds really cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Hellblade, the
Yeah.
newest game from Ninja Theory, has a mechanic in it that it tells you about, like the main character has this sort of thing that's rolling up her arm, and as you die in the game, it says that if it consumes her head, then she'll be gone and your progress will be deleted and all this stuff. And some people took this very seriously.
Well, it's a video game. It's meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious business.
Like, you died too many times and we're just going to delete your progress.
Yeah.
And there were a couple videos denouncing the whole thing, and review scores being
Bunch
given.
of snowflakes.
Yeah. And as it turns out, it's a bluff. You don't actually get your save deleted. And somebody tested this out and died more than like 50 times, and it never deletes your save. It's just an empty threat, basically. So, but people got way up in arms about it on the first day
On
the
the
game
internet?
came out.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
I can't imagine that.
These people should have.
either.
These people should have been playing Steel Battalion back in the day.
Yeah, what was that? If you didn't press eject,
If you didn't eject before your mech blew up, then your game was gone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah, I think that was. But people had to spend $200 in order to get that game with the controller, so they deserved that if they couldn't eject in time,
I
right?
still have mine downstairs,
There you go.
unplayed.
Well, anyway, it was a bluff, and the game looks pretty cool. So
Yeah.
What I've heard of it sounds great.
I've not picked it up yet, but that's probably more a function of there are just too many damn games
Yeah.
coming out
Hmm.
this month and next
Yes.
month, and October is crazy too. So I'll
I'm
pick
still-
this up later.
I'm still really hoping we get DMC on Switch. That would make me very happy. Ninja Theory.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool for sure. An update to No Man's Sky has gone live.
It's
Have you heard about
added like a
this?
30-hour single player mode, has it not?
Yeah,
Something like
it
that?
has added 30 hours of branching story and deeper lore with procedurally generated guild missions. There's deeper interstellar trading. There's a lot of stuff in this Atlas Rises update. Apparently, the people who have booted it up after this update have said that it feels like an entirely different game now.
Really?
Yeah. So they've
It
done a lot of
kind of
things.
makes me want to play it again.
It also makes me want to play it again too. If there weren't so many other games.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
No,
True.
I would totally do that. UI improvements. They did a lot to the terrain to make it feel more varied. There's a trailer up on YouTube that'll
Yeah.
tell you about all the changes in the update. But it looks great.
And that can actually bump into other real players, right?
You can bump into other real players, but here's the catch on that. I believe they're just like points of light.
Oh, jeez.
They're not.
Yes, I've
Ah.
heard that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
so you
God,
can
there are a lot
spend
of
the
games
camp.
coming out this month.
No kidding.
I'm just
No
like looking at
kidding.
like even the stuff that I'm even just interested in, and I don't even have good taste. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Well, Uncharted is this month.
my God, there's okay.
Yeah,
So just
Uncharted.
running through this, let's see here. Yeah, like the Patapon was this month. That's not as big a deal. Where was I? I was here a minute ago. Shoot, I lost it all. Mario
Well, you got
Rabbids is
Mario
coming out this
Rabbids.
month. The new Uncharted
Everybody's Golf.
spin-off is coming out. Everybody's Golf is coming out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sonic
Oh, yeah.
Sonic Mania, Night Trap. There's a new car pack for Horizon 3. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
throwing Night Trap in there. You heard me.
Okay, just was
Night Trap.
City Skylines is kind of cool. You know, I'm not saying you have to buy all this stuff,
There's
but still.
Agents of Mayhem, which is
Agents of
Volition's
Mayhem?
that looks like Crackdown, and it looks awesome.
Yeah. Like, it's just stupid.
It is.
F1 2017, that's big for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes
A
on.
lot of
God,
stuff.
man, I'm broke.
There's too many games. Too many games.
E7 on PC.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a big deal
Yes.
or not. I don't know if that's new or old or what.
well, E7 has been out, but
Oh,
I mean-
the Life is Strange spin-off comes out at the end of the month.
Yeah. Housemarque's
Oh, yeah?
new game Matterfall comes out on Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Man,
There's a lot of there's a lot of games. It's crazy. And I wanna mention friend of the show Mark McDonald. Worked on Res, and
That's on
Res
PC now.
Infinite came out on the PC last week.
Mhm.
Surprise announcement, and it's still available for 20% off. You get a bunch of extra stuff with it too, and it's also VR compatible, Steam VR or Oculus. So you get a lot of stuff. It's only
Crazy.
$20 right now. Regular price is $24.99. So people should definitely check that out because Res Infinite is awesome.
all right.
Yeah, for sure.
now I'm getting really
It's a good
depressed
game.
in September now.
Oh boy.
My God, yeah, don't do that.
Oy.
That Shadow of Mordor game?
Yes.
Mhm.
one with the
I know somebody on this podcast who won't be buying it probably, and that
You know a
is-
couple people on this podcast that won't be buying it. for very different reasons. For me, it's just trying to, not be on welfare by the end of September.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
played through the first one and I loved it, and I was really excited about this one. But now it's for someone else's hobby. It's just not for me.
I agree. It is not. It's not for me.
Yes,
You gotta stop. You gotta stop all the downloading, Ethan. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
It's not his fault if his kids are playing Splatoon online. It's fine.
Kind of his fault.
Well,
Yeah, that's his
He's
fault.
He's their dad. He could tell them to stop.
that's true. Shadow of Mordor. I can't pick it up this year. Like, I'm gonna have to wait until next year at the very least, and who knows if I'll buy it then. Like, there's just too much coming out, and the microtransaction loot boxes news really does not affect my purchasing decision at all because I really likely was not going to pick it up with all of the games that are surrounding it.
Yeah, for me, it's totally just a matter of it's not high enough on the list of desirables.
Yeah,
Because
Indeed.
Night Trap.
Night Trap, exactly.
You gotta,
It's
you
got
gotta
that,
put your
uh,
budget where your budget needs to be.
Right.
It's got that playable game, the prototype thing that spawned all
Scene of
that
the Crime.
games. Scene of the Crime. That
Right.
was the name.
That was the name we
Yes.
couldn't remember a couple weeks ago. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed.
Very excited
So-
about that.
So let's talk about Friday the 13th because I love to do that.
I'll be right back.
How come we haven't had another game night?
Well, we should definitely do that. Maybe this week.
Yeah.
I'll set it up.
Sure. I am not available after Wednesday night though, so it'd have to be.
All right. Well, Phil, when you
Maybe we don't do the live scheduling, so I
all
shouldn't.
right. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll make it out.
Yeah.
And this time I'll get some way to stream it where people can hear everybody else, because you really just don't want to hear my one-sided side of the game session.
Your one-sided side.
My one-sided side. It's one side.
It's one of those
One-sided side, and it
Like halfway
opened
through the
up my
sentence, can't
eyes.
get out of it.
One-sided side.
Exactly. Anyway, so they're going to be adding smaller levels in an update.
Cool.
So that'll be interesting. Don't know exactly how that'll fit in the regular rotation, or if it'll be like smaller variants on the existing maps or entirely new ones. I didn't really go into that, but that's kind of cool. And then they've detailed some anti-griefing measures that they're going to implement in a upcoming patch. But I'm not actually sure how successful this is going to be. Maybe you guys tell me what you think about this. So one of the problems in the game right now is that other counselors can team kill. And in public games, that has been quite an issue. So what they're doing is they are basically making it impossible to kill other counselors. You won't be able to do it unless you're in a car and you run somebody over. Yeah. Then you can kill them. So they're taking out team killing entirely from quick play games.
I think that's fine because there's no reason for it to be there.
The problem with that is that if you have people who want to grief in Friday the 13th, they're going to find other ways to do it, such as taking the important items and dropping them somewhere else, like outside cabins and such, or dying with the items on them. It'll basically, I don't know that it actually solves the problem. What would solve the problem is vote to kick out of a public match, because you can't kick other players in a public game, so you can't get rid of them. There's no way to get rid of them.
You can kill them. Oh wait.
Well, yeah. And the problem they were having with players getting on the roof of some of the buildings, the way that the other players would deal with that is getting up there themselves and then team killing them. And obviously that won't be possible anymore. So not sure how well that'll go. Fortunately, you can still team kill in private games if you want. So
thank God.
Thank goodness for that. And I'm mostly playing private games anyway, honestly. It's not too bad. You still get experience points and all that good stuff in private games. Anyway, I think we should get into what we have been playing at this point. What do you think about that?
Okay. I feel like it's the next logical step.
Sure.
Next logical step. And I think we're going to start with Greg Seward.
Sure. So one of the new games that I played this week, well, new to me, was I finally fired up Elite Dangerous on the PS4. Just came out recently on the PS4.
Oh,
that is
cool.
The space trucker simulator thingy that I actually worked on a little bit. I was kind of excited to see. I went through the credits, and those of us who were at Frontier Halifax before it was shut down, our names are in there in the special thanks, which is nice to see.
Nice.
Man, this game is so freaking... I streamed it for an hour and a half. A good hour and 25 minutes of that was spent trying to figure out the controls. It was... This game is dense, man. It's just like...
And you worked on it.
And I worked on it. I did not know how to play it. Yeah, I mean, it's got an interesting control scheme where, like, back in the day when they were porting games like the Wing Commander series to console, they generally changed the flight controls a little bit so that there was a simple mode where you just use the left stick for everything, and you kind of, if you could bank and roll and everything using the left stick, and usually a combination of buttons. But with Elite, the left stick controls the pitch and yaw, but the right stick actually controls directional thrusters. So if you push down on the right stick, your ship will just start to drop, and vice versa. it takes a lot of getting used to, and it makes landing a pain in the ass. But I could totally say how you get completely lost in that game. It is a massive universe. It's doing the same thing that No Man's Sky was doing, but on a huge budget. So, I mean, you've got pretty much the entire Milky Way, like as in a realistic size of the entire Milky Way to fly around in. And, you can do whatever you want. You can do combat, you can do bounty hunting, you can just buy and sell goods, you can run specific missions from different stations and that sort of thing. And it's pretty cool. And there's tons of ships to buy, and there's tons of weapons to buy, and different bits and pieces you can bolt on. The only thing that I was a little bit bummed about is that you get to name your ship, which is great. And you can customize them, but they're all done using, I think it's called Frontier points or Elite points or something like that. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to get those in the game. You have to buy those.
Oh,
so
that's not
kind of a bummer, because I doubt I'll ever get so into it that I want to spend more than the price of admission that I've already paid. So it's kind of, that kind of sucks. But otherwise, I was having a good time with it, but it's extremely dense. It's really, really hard to get into, and especially in this day and age where you don't have, like in the old days on a PC game, you would have just reams of manuals and guides and things like that. And a lot of times too, like the old flight sims that you had, you would get the overlays for your keyboard.
Oh yeah,
I would call it which was always so cool, right? You don't get any of that nowadays. I mean, it's all online, like it's all in game, which honestly is way less convenient when you think about it, because it's like you have to stop and pause your game and pull up a list of controls and find the one you're looking for. Whereas the old days when you had like a quick reference card, it was always so helpful where I don't have to stop the game. I can just kind of glance down and find what I'm looking for. But it's still a nice game.
It's a love it or leave it type of thing. I got it myself on the HTC Vive, and for a while there were people on Reddit saying that it's their favorite Vive game. And if you love the game, there were people who were getting thrust matches just to play it and stuff, really getting involved. And I can really appreciate that. And the game has the depth to justify that. For me, I was just overwhelmed by it. And so I love the idea of being in this cockpit. I think it looks terrific in VR, but I ended up backing away from it just because I didn't think I'd have the time commitment. And when you start playing it, you feel pretty incompetent. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was doing poorly right off that, and that kind of discouraged me.
Because you probably were, and that's not a judgment on you. It's just that the game is really difficult to get into. But you're right. Like it's got that element to it, kind of like a like the Euro Truck Simulator, and those types of games where you could just sink hours upon hours, and if you're into it, you buy like the special controllers, and I could totally see getting lost in the gameplay and playing nothing else. Like the game is definitely built properly that way. And of course, the other thing is you can play it solo, or you can actually play it online, and there are actually other people out there that you will interact with, not just dots of light or whatever it is in No Man's Sky. And the other thing that I want to say real quick too is that, man, the sound design in that game is fantastic. That game sounds so good. Especially when you're getting into like what they call super cruise, which is below light speed. And then when you're getting into like jumps and everything like that, like it's just the way it sounds. When you're in combat too, when you're taking damage, sooner or later, what will probably happen is, if you're as bad as I am, the cowl in the cockpit might actually shatter. And so you're exposed to space basically at that point, and your life support only lasts so long. But it changes the way everything sounds. Like all the sound is then, of course, extremely muffled because you've lost all the oxygen almost all the oxygen in the cabin and that sort of thing. So, yeah, just the game looks and sounds beautiful, but it is so difficult to get into.
I see.
But something you could easily spend hundreds of hours in, if that's the.
Is it a PSVR thing, or
no? It is not, and I don't believe they've said that they're going to support PlayStation VR. I always thought it was kind of interesting because you're right, Ethan. Elite was kind of a VR darling early on, because it was one of those. It was an early sort of game that had VR support, that had a huge budget behind it. It was a big full-featured flight sim, space
Yes.
flight sim that you know, and with most VR experiences, you're talking fairly short, fairly low budget for very obvious reasons. So I know it was a bit of a darling in that community.
But it had a lot of the same problems that Drive Club had, which was also one of those big games early on VR, which is they didn't make enough tweaks to be optimized for VR. So the actual panels that you have in front of you are difficult to read. It's just it's a resolution thing, and it's pretty annoying. So if you already had played the game and you know what every button anyway, not really a big issue.
Right.
Those games, I think that challenge of not just building from the ground up with VR in mind.
Yep.
Are your
But anyway, I
neighbors
don't.
on your internet, Ethan?
What's that?
And I've done everything I can.
Because
It's fine. It's fine. It's like listening to a podcast at 3x speed. You kind of get the gist of what he's saying. It's fine.
you actually do that?
I
yeah,
do.
So
yes.
anyway, it's something wrong with you, man.
That's how I listen to so many podcasts.
I don't believe they've said anything about PSVR, and if they have, I'm pretty sure it's probably to say no, they're not going to support PSVR on this.
Yeah.
I don't know that the system could handle it. They'd have to really pare it down. So this weekend, I was playing a game for Extra Life. You may have heard of it. Have you ever played it? I was playing Snatcher. I got an actual copy. I could sell this for like $900 probably, but
That's nice.
yeah, my original copy of Snatcher.
nice.
Now, why does the cover on that have the weird like blue and silver?
I
Sega
don't
CD
know.
stripe?
I don't know. I believe that was the only one that ever did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I assume that the companies were responsible themselves for actually printing these covers, and they just had to be within a certain specification from Sega. So I don't know. But yeah, I believe it's kind of nice because it's like one of the sort of premier Sega CD games, so it really sticks out on your shelf when
Totally.
got sort of the barber pole blue striping going on there.
You know what's a real shame though is that Konami doesn't make video games anymore, so they can't do a re-release.
A lot of conversation
of that. I'd love to see that, or like bring Police Knots over in English finally.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Well, there is an English translation for Police Knots now. You know that, right?
An official one?
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Official.
Well, I know, but
I know there's
do it. So
of course I know there's an English translation of it. Just like there's another Metroid 2 remake, but I'm not going to play the one that the fans did.
La di da. Excuse me, Mr. Johnston.
I want to play an official translation. That's what I want.
I want an official translation.
It's like Mother 3. I want to play the official. I want it.
Yeah. Keep
Anyway,
on
so I played through Snatcher on the weekend. I will actually put that up on my YouTube channel soon, but you should go check that out. That's a good time. Anyone who hasn't played it, it's probably time to just emulate that thing.
Yeah.
And
good game.
Especially if you like Blade Runner. Since it's basically Hideo Kojima's version of Blade Runner.
Hideo Kojima certainly likes Blade Runner.
Yeah. Apparently Police Knots is Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Really? It's not Blue Streak?
It's very, very based on the characters anyway, Blue Streak. The characters anyway are based on Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah. Making it the second best Lethal Weapon game out there.
What
After
Like
the
Game
NES
Boy
one,
game?
of course.
Oh.
After the
I never
NES game.
played this one.
It's not good. It's me having a lark.
That was a joke.
Wasn't there was a Super Nintendo Lethal Weapon game?
Was there?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Okay.
That
Of Joe
true,
Pesci.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the one with Joe Pesci on the cover too. I think it was like based on Lethal Weapon 3.
Well, the
Joe
NES
Pesci
one's the
burn?
same thing. Oh,
Oh, is
Ethan's finally perking up. He's here in Lethal Weapon.
He's here in Joe Pesci.
Somebody say Joe Pesci?
You mudda.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have my Sega CD set up and working on my next Sega CD write-up for Player One Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And on a little bit of a full motion video kick. So I also played some Prize Fighter.
Nice. A true video production.
A true video production.
Nice.
Played through it. Beat it.
How does it hold up?
Really? All right.
As far as full motion video goes, it's it's an interesting game because they were trying different things at this point, and this is actually a first-person fighting game, first-person boxing game, done in full motion video. So it actually does a lot of the same kind of little tricks that they were doing with things like what the heck was it called? Not Top Gun. It looks like Top Gun. What's it called?
I liked that game too.
Tomcat Alley. Thank you.
Tomcat Alley, yes.
So the thing with Tomcat Alley is that was a flight game where you were shooting down. It was all full motion video. You're shooting down a bunch of enemy pilots, and the way that they would hide the fact that they were switching video tracks, so you weren't playing the exact same track every time, was that they would go into like these transition screens, which was a few frames of video that would go back and forth of someone like holding the flight stick or looking around, or sometimes you get like a plane going whoosh through the screen and everything like that, and then it's loaded up a new video. They do the same thing in Prize Fighter, where the other fighter is coming at you in various clips, but then sooner or later they'll the two fighters will like lock up, and then the ref will have to come in and split them up. And when they do that, they literally come right in on the camera so that it goes black, and then it switches to a new clip, and then the next clip starts with the ref saying, telling them to separate. I'm getting excited. I'm knocking my microphone around here and everything. So that's like how it works. And then otherwise, it's just a couple of digitized arms they have that'll come in at different levels when you throw a punch, different levels on the screen. But it's kind of got an RPG element because every time you win, you actually get power points that you can actually assign to your left or your right hook or your right punch or your actual stamina so that your life bar is a little higher. And because it's full motion video, there's only 4 fighters that you can fight against, which kind of sucks. But it still was good for about a 2-hour play session.
Totally.
And
that was great back in the day. I was super impressed with that game.
Well, one of the cool things they did with it too, if you're looking on YouTube, you can see on the screens on the back, to get around the color palette issue on the Genesis, this is all in black and white.
Yeah, it's all
Raging
Bull style.
It's all.
What do you mean? It's an artistic choice.
No, but you can legitimately say it was too, because I believe the director of photography is the same guy who did Raging Bull.
Yes,
which was all in black and white. It was a great movie, by the way.
And Prize Fighter co-stars Dick Miller, fabulous old time character actor Dick Miller, who is amazing.
Who was he in there?
He was the I think the guy, the water boy. Not boy, because he's.
Oh yeah. I recognized him. I didn't know that's who it was, but I recognized him.
He was in the Gremlins movies as Mr. Futterman.
Yes,
that's
right.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. I mean,
and it's got, of course, Michael Buffer, which is
that's right.
Kind of a great get, because Michael Buffer was pretty famous at the time too.
Right.
The Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love too, because it's a digital pictures game, it's so cheesy. You also have, of course, the dude who's gambling on the fights, and you see little bits of video about him, and you've got the gangster who starts off betting against you, and every now and then, if you knock down like the second fighter, there's a scene where if you knock him down and the ref is counting him out, you look over and he's standing by the ring, just like, grabbing his fists, and he's got his dark sunglasses on. And by the end, because you're going up against the world champion, he loves you. But then, of course, there's the other storyline where little Timmy, or whatever the heck his name is,
that's right,
has crutches because his dad was Killer Kowalski or something like that, and he died in the ring. And ever since that day, the kid hasn't walked without crutches. But there's this really disturbing scene when you're coming down the tunnel in the last fight where the gangsters are saying, "I'm putting all my money on you, kid." And then he hugs the little kid, and it's just like I can't lose him because he's gonna murder the little kid.
He's threatening the child. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, great vintage digital picture stuff. It's one of the later games, so it's when they really were doing some cool things with video, and they'd had it all sorted out. So I guess couldn't stop.
Limited Run put this other game up for sale on Friday as well, called The Bunker.
The Bunker. I grabbed that as well.
That's also a full motion video game.
Yes.
And I had not really heard anything about it until this Limited Run sale, and I watched a trailer.
It looks good.
It actually looks really good, and now I kind of want to play it.
Yeah, I was the same way, because they actually had that like the FMV Friday bundle. It was like $200, but it was like the 2 copies of Night Trap and like the vinyl soundtrack and a copy of that and everything. But it's like, I wonder what this game's about. And I watched the trailer too. It's like, this is really, really cool. So yeah, I can't wait to try that. Hopefully next week. Is that when the all stuff's gonna? Is that when it's releasing? Is next week? I don't know how fast any of it's getting shipped.
I think. What did they say? I forget if it was shipping on the 15th.
It's shipping on. Yeah, it's shipping on the. 15th,
Okay,
yeah.
so maybe
Yeah.
end of next week, but probably not.
Yeah. I got a notification that my my Wonder Boy is shipping. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I checked, by the way. I got Sonic Mania on PS4, so I'm good.
oh, good. You're okay then.
Sweet. Then you'll have no problems.
That's all I've been playing.
Alrighty.
Trip down memory lane there.
Nice.
Alrighty, Phil.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
Played a little more Splatoon, not a whole lot, but Splatoon is fun. So
What level are you at, Phil? What
I'm
level?
I'm
What's
I'm
your
only
level?
on like level 8.
Okay.
I'm-
Ethan, what level are you at?
27.
27. High five, brother. I'm at level 30. Boom.
Jeez.
Yeah, nice.
Nerds.
That's right. The only way
I
I got
also-
there really is from eating a one of them double experience things from Krusty Sean's food truck there, and then going into ranked mode and
Sean's.
winning
Follow
a
up.
bunch.
Follow-up question. When's the last time you guys went out with your wives?
Last night
I don't believe that.
night
Without your Switch.
to the Mystery
CJ.
Science Theater live show.
Oh,
went out
my
with,
God.
the
Okay,
symphony.
when's the last time you took your wife out somewhere where she wanted to go?
Before they were married.
like last weekend. Like last weekend.
Her birthday doesn't count, CJ.
Oh,
To the
Oh,
last
damn.
weekend I took her to the Rift Tracks show. It was a whole different experience that time.
that's right.
Okay. I'm just starting off. I'm a babe from the womb in Splatoon.
There you go.
But keeping with my nonsensically named video games that I played this past week, I picked up Patapon
Cool.
remastered. Pon Patapon.
Is that just
Is what?
It looks like Ethan's saying something. What is it,
Ethan's-
boy?
is that just PS4?
It's,
Yes.
It's not for Vita, if
It
that's
is
what you're
indeed.
wondering. Nor is it for
It is
Switch.
indeed remastered on PS4,
Yeah,
just like
just
Loco
like
Roco
or
Yeah.
Parappa.
or Parappa. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Patapon is a fantastic game. I love Patapon.
It's a good time on the PSP, I remember.
Yeah. And the sequel too.
Patapon 2
That's the
was-
one.
was the name of that one. So I've been having a good time playing some Patapon. Finn's been
You were
watching and
Totally
getting a kick.
pony those
Oh.
enemies there.
I hate you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I have been.
Okay.
So I'm enjoying it. It's a fun game. It's a music, it's a rhythm action game for those who have not played Patapon, where you
Phil is all about the rhythm method.
I every time I pon pata pon
Oh, gross.
pata pon
Gross.
pata
Oh.
pon.
Please stop.
Oh Lord.
Ah, I'm talking about doing it. Pon pata
Oh, stop.
pon. So anyway, it's a rhythm action game where you incite your army of little patapon critters into battle by rhythmically tapping in commands that cause them to march forward or to attack and that sort of thing. And it's really clever and it's very stylish. And it's a fun game. I like Patapon. It was totally worth the $15 they're
That's a good
charging
price.
over.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was cheaper too if you pre-ordered it. If you were a Plus member, I think you could have gotten it for like 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind
Okay.
having to pay an extra $3,
Pick that up sometime.
yeah,
And
it's
they
definitely
made
worth
I
it.
think they made iOS iMessage stickers for Patapon as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Well, I'll have to
don't have
get those
They are
and
available.
send them to people who will have no idea what they are.
That's a good idea.
Just a little.
I'm actually
sooth-
wondering, Sony put out an Everybody's Golf mobile game in Japan. Are we getting that or what? Like,
I'm curious
is
about that. I
coming out
heard
here?
I heard that that's pretty heavy on the microtransactions, though.
I know, but is it coming out here or what? I want to play it.
That would be cool.
I do not know.
I mean, we have games with microtransactions here in the great country of the United States of America.
Did you hear what he said about Canada, buddy? See how he left you off there?
And
Doesn't
Canada.
care. Doesn't care.
North America in general.
Canadians don't care.
Yeah. So
All right.
there you go.
Well,
That's what I've been
yeah.
playing. Splatoon
Well,
and Patapon.
I see. Now's the time where we turn to Ethan to tell us all about what Switch games he's been playing and other stuff.
So, I have been just putting a ton of time into Splatoon. I have hit close to 70 hours on the game now. And
Nice.
that's a lot more than I expected. And I'm having a good time, but I am also finding that I'm playing it somewhat obsessively, where I'm just grinding and just it's very hard for me to stop playing until I hit that goal and get the prize. So again, I'm enjoying myself, but also I'm realizing that I'm not enjoying playing it as much as something like Zelda, which is this big adventure. It does feel like I'm just kind of going, through the same motions over and over again, less to improve my skill and more to try to get that sweet new weapon. And that's not a totally satisfying experience to me, even as I pump a ton of time into trying to get the stuff that I want. So right now I'm trying to get the gold arrow spray, which is the next unlock. I've been using the silver one and have been pretty successful with it. But it feels like a very kind of compulsive experience. So I don't know if I'm going to be playing that much longer because again, it's like I generally tend to prefer the kind of Zelda being on a big adventure experience as opposed to just doing these.
As opposed
these
to just slapping that feed bar.
Well, have you? I mean, have you played through the single player game yet?
Yes, I finished the single player game. Yeah,
Okay.
I beat that, and that was good.
Yeah, for me, I try not to play a ton of Turf War because, kind of like you, I feel like, especially at the higher levels, there, like in the upper 20s, it really feels like grinding because, as you win, you really don't get enough experience points to make any bit of difference in Turf War in terms of your level, and losing doesn't feel great there either. But ranked mode, especially if you eat that double experience food from Krusty Sean's food truck, you can gain a lot of experience in a very short time by winning some ranked games. And
you can, but it's higher volatility and
for sure
lower reliability. So of course, when you lose a ranked match, you get nothing for the most part.
Yeah, you get nothing, and
don't lose.
You might actually, your rank might go down.
Good.
Well, the other thing that is kind of a frustration to me, and I'm confident you've experienced this, CJ, is where you have these balances where, I'm not great at the game or anything, but I've gotten competent enough to where I'll find myself in these long streaks where I am the top ranked player on my team, but still we're losing over and over again. And I'll go through a run of like 15, 16 different losses. And but it then ends up balancing out where it's almost always like 50 wins, 50 losses type of, or 25 wins, 25 losses out of the top 50 or thereabouts. So it kind of feels like it's artificially balancing it so that, they're not putting you on this team too many times so that you're still at that kind of 52-48 is kind of the balance that games like Clash Royale try to keep you compelled. I'm not making criticisms of the game. I'm having a good time, but it does feel more like just kind of a bald compulsion loop than other games, and I'm just a little frustrated with myself that I've poured that much time into it that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like, my daughter loves playing Splatoon 2, but she's really not that good at it, especially if she's using, let's say, the bucket weapon, which she bought and switched to today. And I play it like the people on my other team, on my team in Turf War are, people like my daughter, not not all that great. And if I lose, then fine. Like I generally, if I'm losing, I try to take a different strategy around the map. Like try to find ways to break through the enemy and maybe get deep into enemy territory and then reverse it and come back around. Like I try to do stuff like that and see how successful I am there. And I think you're right. I have noticed it's kind of 50-50 win-loss for me. I'm never on like too long of a streak, but I really don't mind because I have fun playing the game. And for me now, I'm level 30. There are no more weapons to unlock. I really have nothing else to play that for. I'm just enjoying the because after level 30, there's no more stuff. So I'm just having fun, kind of improving my skills with different weapons. I've done that a lot too, where I'll switch to like the heavy splatling and play some rounds with that. I still can't play charger weapons for anything, but I'll try.
I'm terrible with those too.
Some different weapons and try to switch up my strategy and see how things go. And I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I'm also over 70 hours at this point too.
The thing is, though, is it feels like the next step that would make the game super fun all over again is if I could have real chat in the game where I could actually communicate with my team members, because that seems so important. But like you just have to kind of work independently and understand, where you can take an enemy by surprise, higher level ledges, stuff like that. But I can't communicate to anyone that that's what I'm doing. I can't communicate, hey, people are coming from this quadrant.
You can by using Booyah in this way.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But that sucks. I mean, it's so like perfect for voice chat, and so I'm increasingly frustrated by the limitation of the Switch with regards to voice chat. So again, it's a game I really enjoy.
Voice chat in Salmon Run and in ranked games, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you can do it in ranked games? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Or sorry, in the Okay.
League battles, not ranked, because ranked
that's what I knew you meant. Yes.
League.
Salmon Run also, I have been enjoying that as well. I think that's a really fun mode. That it's nice to kind of swap out with that. And I'm actually okay with it not always being available because it's kind of a nice treat when it's suddenly available.
Sure.
I think I'm going to continue to play it, but I think it probably, once I hit that point of level 30 where I'm not unlocking weapons anymore, I'll be playing it a lot less. It will certainly be replaced by Mario and Rabbids if that game is good.
Oh, sure.
By the time that comes out. And I'm actually kind of aching to get a little more into ARMS again, which it's interesting. I still prefer the game mechanically. I still prefer ARMS, but ARMS I've only put 25 hours into compared to 70, which is an interesting thing. Yeah. Wow. But still it's fun. It's also really nice to have a game like that on the go because it's nice to just, plunk a little bit more time into it where you just have a Wi-Fi hotspot,
Totally true. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I did get the hammer laid down on me. I don't know if that's happened to you. I had a bad connection at Pete's today, so they said, "Sorry, we're going to block you for 5 minutes. Go get a better connection."
Oh, I have oddly never gotten that.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So that's been my experience with Splatoon 2. The only other game I've been playing since I put so much time into that is a little iPhone game that is called Eglia. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one.
I have heard about it. This is the one that A84 worked on with the Brownie Brown folks, right? Brownies?
Yeah. So it's the Legend of the Red Cap. It's the guys who worked on the Secret of Mana. And has this really beautiful art style. It's a totally premium product, so no one at purchase is $10 up front. Very simple mechanics that are very appropriate to a touchscreen, and lots of dialogue. So it really feels almost like kind of a combination of a game and a visual novel, which is increasingly common in Japan. It was really, really popular in Japan as far as, premium games go. And I don't think it's going to make much of an impact here, but if you're looking for something that's more of kind of a Vita 3DS type experience on your phone, this is definitely a good one to investigate. It's really designed nicely from the ground up for the device, so it feels good to play, but it feels richer and more complete than what you would typically get just, downloading something off the top grossing charts.
I know this makes me part of the problem, but I would never pay that much anymore for an iPhone game.
Yeah.
So, and I'm wondering
I
why
think-
that is. Because I'm
Certainly
telling
you're not
you
alone.
that like mechanically, it's something that it would feel like a steal if you got it on Vita, right? Or the 3DS. Certainly on the Switch. Would you be any more likely to buy the game on any of those platforms?
Well, I mean, not having seen it at all, I know, but I'm saying, yeah, I know it makes me part of the problem, but I have a mental block because here that would be $15,
Sure.
and it just feels like too much to pay for a game on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I am obviously very much in the opposite camp where the last 3 games that I have purchased on my iPhone have been Frame 2, Monument Valley 2, and Eglia. I love that upfront first purchase, and if it's gotten good reviews, because yes, I do still look at reviews very carefully.
Weird, man.
I'm pretty confident jumping in, and I have yet to be disappointed if a game is getting raves, and this one is getting a lot of positive notes. So.
Is it a is it like a virtual D-pad type game?
No, not at all. That's
Oh,
what's so
okay.
great about it is
That's good to hear.
yeah, it's a hexagonal grid based, but it's very, very pretty. It looks absolutely like a Mana game, and so you roll a die, and then you can choose, what direction to go and whether to attack an enemy or cut down trees for, goods that you need. That type of thing, but it's a really tight, satisfying game. The only thing that makes it feel fundamentally different is that, as I said, like there are these massive dialogue trees that like take quite a bit to get through. They're well written, they're funny, it's worth reading, but I think the Japanese audience is more accepting of that certainly than the Western audience.
Right.
But I'm happy it came out here. I'm happy they did get a great team to localize it, and I don't know how big the audience is, but the audience that is open to pay a premium price should be happy, because again, it's kind of that reflection of like, if Apple had never allowed prices to go down to 0, would we have more games like this? And would you have a different impression of the kind of quality you can get on a phone?
Maybe.
The world will never know.
I can get Titanfall Assault for free.
I
Yeah,
downloaded that. I haven't
but-
played it yet.
Yeah.
That's
I can get Shrek Sugar Fever for free.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Ooh, Ray Crisis is out on iPhones now.
All
That
right.
shooter?
Yeah, Ray Crisis. The
I remember that.
Taito released it. It's $9 on the iPhone.
It's too much.
There you go.
Well, I mean, and Phil, that's the thing. You give me crap a lot, but you certainly have been open to buying good premium games as well.
On a phone.
I don't know the last time I played a game on my phone.
That's kind of the bigger thing. I just don't play games on my phone at this point.
Yeah. That said, everyone should pick up Pocket Mortys from Adult Swim
Darn right.
Games.
Every week it gets updated with new Mortys from the show.
New episode tonight on Adult
Right.
Swim.
Hey, I just found a game for free. Titanfall Assault.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ethan? What do you got?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Well, all I've been playing is Splatoon 2.
There you go.
That's pretty much it. And then I've been watching video streams of Agents of Mayhem because that looks like it's going to be really fun. Even though
I keep
A lot
seeing
of-
that and I feel like, wow, this game is just built for CJ.
it truly is. It's like the Saints Row team made a Saturday morning cartoon style single player story based open world shooter where you can switch between loadouts of 3 characters to go on missions and such, and it's like the Crackdown sequel that I've always wanted. Like this seems perfect for me, and the cutscenes are excellent. The only problem I have with it is that they use a lot of the swear words, a lot of the
lot of the
cusses,
cursing. Yeah.
a lot of the cursing, which is fine. Like if I'm playing with headphones on, that's fine. But oftentimes, when my daughter's around, I can't play a game that has a lot of cursing. I'm kind of hoping there's an option to turn that off, but I imagine that there won't
I
be.
doubt that.
Highly doubt it. So, I mean, otherwise, I would. She could totally watch me play it if she wanted to. But
All the brothels don't bother you?
in Agents of Mayhem,
I'm just
I
kidding.
didn't see any brothels. Suddenly, I'm intrigued. So I'll probably be picking that up. I mean, I am picking that up. I pre-ordered it and preloaded it on the PS4. So there you go with that. It looks great, and a lot of people on GAF and the internet are like, "This isn't Saints Row, and I hate it." And I thought this was
You're the only person I know who consistently uses the word probably when they mean definitely.
What do you mean?
Anytime you say I'm probably going to pick something up, it means you're definitely picking it up. And it was just funny that
I may have already picked
it was
up.
like, I already did. So I'm probably picking it up. I mean, I've already paid for it and it's preloaded, but I'm probably picking it up.
That's so true. But yeah, picking that up. It's an expensive Tuesday, with Sonic Mania and Night Trap, and
it's going to be expensive couple months if you buy everything you want.
Yeah, really.
Undertale and all that stuff, because Undertale comes out Tuesday too.
Yes, right.
But I kind of want to wait until that comes out on Switch, because that's gonna happen.
That'd be a good
Oh,
game
it
for
has
Switch.
to.
Yeah, it'd be a good game for Switch.
It'd be a really good game for Switch. So I'm kind of just gonna wait until that happens. Probably. I don't know. Definitely. And I will say one thing. That Samus 3DS XL that they showed off this week.
Are you probably getting that?
I am not getting that. No.
Okay.
He's probably not getting it.
I'm not even going to say probably on this one. I'm not getting it.
It's pretty nice though. The design is nice.
It is pretty.
It is. It looks nice, but I don't need it. Just like I don't need a 2DS XL, and I haven't bought one of those yet. But I probably will.
That's the thing again with the Metroid game, is there is so much coming out in September as well that I'm interested in it, but I just don't know if I'm ultimately going to pick it up, because the Fire Emblem Echoes I just didn't spend that much time on, and I love that franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I would say too that I have barely touched my 3DS in months.
Same.
But I mean, it's a new Metroid game.
I know, that's the thing. That's the thing. But I'm actually more excited about Sonic Mania.
Me too.
No, I should be more excited about a new Metroid, but
bite your tongue.
I'll totally be playing that Metroid on 3DS, but
I've pre-ordered that game. I will grab it. I'm hoping. I'm still really worried, but I know the previews have been good. But I am still really worried about it.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they still haven't announced the developer on Metroid Prime 4 yet. I really wonder who that is.
I don't think we'll know that till next E3.
Yeah.
We'll find out before then. They'll do some kind of a Nintendo Direct around January time where they'll show off some games. They'll probably
yeah, I guess that's true. Once we get through the Christmas season, it'll be worth doing stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then my daughter has really gotten into Goat Simulator. As of late, I think it was like a year ago or so. Like I was trying to find games on the Xbox One that I had that she could play, like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie and whatnot. And then Goat Simulator, I loaded it up and she played it a little, and we put it down. For some reason, she like brought it up last week and was like, "I want to play the Goat game. I want to play the Goat game."
It's because kids never forget anything.
They never forget. It's crazy.
That's a little bit of advice for any of you soon-to-be parents. Just know now, your kids will never forget anything.
They will never forget. No. Yeah, and so we've been playing Goat Simulator, and she's enjoying destroying everything.
Good girl.
And she'll make up little stories about the goat and what the goat is doing. And there's
great
one section in Goat Simulator where you ride an elevator up to the top of this building, and Deadmau5 is having a concert on the top of this building. And of course, you can run into Deadmau5 and take his mask there, and which she did. And she makes up this story about having to go to the party and being late for the party that's on this rooftop, and then launching herself off of the rooftop, and then just taking the elevator back up and doing it all over again. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
A lot of fun to watch her like make up stories with this goat. And oh no, I'm late for the boat ride. I gotta get the boat ride. And it's just hilarious. Anyway, I Goat Simulator was one of those free games with gold games, so that's why I had it on my Xbox One. And they have a whole bunch of expansions, right? Like a zombie one, and there's a payback thing, and there's like a bunch of different things there. but I'm wondering if those are as all age appropriate as the standard Goat Simulator generally is. Like I feel like it's generally okay for the most part, since she's not really doing much other than running around, and she doesn't get the whole Stonehenge references and all the satanic stuff that's in there too. When she got to be the Goat Queen, she was like, "I'm the Goat Queen. I'm the Goat Queen." Nevertheless, like she has this demonic looking goat mask on. Anyway, but that's all age appropriate and whatnot. But I'm wondering if the Payday stuff has any language that would be inappropriate. But the game's rated T. I'm not sure if the content there's no good references for whether that extra content is appropriate. Because there looks like some fun stuff there, but I just have no idea. Anyway, maybe somebody out there knows. Maybe someone out there has kids and Goat Simulator and all these expansions and can tweet at me at SuperPack and tell me if I should or could buy any of those and whether they're kid appropriate. Anyway, for a 5.5-year-old. What do you say we do some tweets?
Let's do it.
Tweet.
Alrighty, let's do this one from hacker alias Randomly Rossi, who says, "What's the biggest hassle you've had trying to play a game prompted from me having constant crashes on Forza Horizon 3 on startup?"
Oh, sorry. The way you read that didn't make it sound like it was sort of two separate phrases.
No. What's the biggest hassle you've had trying to play a game? He had a problem with constant crashes on Forza.
I'm not sure what the biggest hassle was, but I'm pretty sure whatever it was happened in the early 90s on my PC.
Yeah.
Trying to set up virtual memory or God knows what else. The sound card, or back in the dark ages of PC gaming when nothing really worked out of the box.
Yeah.
Unless you were really lucky.
I had purchased a copy of Wolfenstein. I think it was Wolfenstein: The New Order for Xbox One. I got it on the Target clearance rack for $10. And every time it tries to install, it gets to about 75% and then doesn't go any further. Won't install, won't boot, won't do anything. And the disc is basically a coaster. There's no explanation. I tried to figure out online with various Google searches how to get it to actually install so I could try it, but to no avail. Luckily, it was only a $10 purchase, but that was certainly the most problems I've had with the game this gen, certainly.
Yeah, for me, it's still just been a systemic problem of, to this day, I have my controller disconnecting every 60 seconds or so on the Xbox unless I have a USB cable attached to it, a micro USB. So if I'm willing to move my chair significantly up closer to the TV, I can play Xbox, but I don't tend to bother, and that's been my biggest hassle.
Is that using one of those charge kits?
Yeah. If I try to do it wirelessly, it just constantly disconnects.
You talking about the 360?
No, Xbox One.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had this problem too for a long time.
I didn't bother even trying them because the charge kit for the 360 was so abysmal. I didn't even bother. I just have AA's on hand.
I have AA's on mine as well, and I was having a similar problem as Ethan, where it would just lose the controller, and it still does that with the Rock Band guitar too.
So it's like a Joy-Con.
Yeah. It's just and there's no fixing it. Like I've tried to update the controller firmware or whatever, and
that's the thing. I've done everything.
Wow, no, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Nothing for you, Phil?
I can't think of any time I've had hassles.
No.
Phil's life is just sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, I have a pretty sweet life actually. Pretty great. It's all
sunshine, lollipops, and
rainbows. Everything that's wonderful.
There you go.
All right, hacker alias Joel W. Music says a Reddit post said that Giant Bomb was doing games they quick looked a disservice because they weren't skilled at them. Thoughts?
I don't agree with that. I'm not skilled at every single game I play for the very first time.
Yeah.
Well, the quick looks aren't being played for the very first time. These are usually games that the person who's playing them has either reviewed them or at least spent quite a few hours on it, and they're loading up like a previous save.
Yeah.
generally speaking.
I mean, I guess I could see the point of that, but at the same time, if it's something that they've played or for an extended amount of time or they've reviewed and they're still not good at it, I feel like that says more about the game than
Sometimes.
than the person covering it.
It can. I remember I had somewhat mixed feelings when, like, the OPM reviewer for the God of War could not get through certain parts and had to have someone help them do it. And it's like, okay, that's understandable, and certainly I've gotten stuck on things too, but that's a fairly straightforward game. And then, the review feels like, well, this is a game that wasn't really properly tuned for that particular critic. So it's like, I would rather hear the review from somebody who, would be more like, the average consumer, that played through the entire game on their own. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think any professional reviewer is ever going to. They can try to come at it from the standpoint of the average consumer that played the game on their own. But I think most reviewers have a very hard time putting themselves in the shoes of the average consumer anyway, which is one of the reasons why I stopped reading reviews ages ago.
I can see what you're saying. Sure.
Oftentimes, even streamers in general, like if you watch a lot of Let's Plays, oftentimes those people have never touched those games before they start.
Yeah, I think they're very telling.
Yeah.
They won't even have like the basic information about a game in general. And I think Giant Bomb, the quick looks are certainly better than that. But I do feel I was watching their Kingdom Hearts stream because they're replaying Kingdom Hearts. Ben Pack is replaying it, and some of the things that he's done in that game make me feel like, okay, maybe I'm not that bad a gamer after all. He's really making some terrible mistakes here that I'm pretty sure I could do better than, but maybe not. And it makes me feel a whole lot better about my video gaming skill or lack thereof.
And, given what has been happening with people who work at the video portions of professional websites lately, I'd say being not so good at a video game is kind of low on the list of problems that you could be having.
Yikes. Well, I think
to wade right into these, doesn't he?
At least Jeff Gerstmann's not flirting with people over Twitter.
I wouldn't even call that flirting.
Flirting, quote unquote. I don't know.
I wish Jeff would flirt with me over Twitter.
Nick sure seemed to think it was just flirting. But,
Yikes.
But what do I know? Go on.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I don't even know how to But really, it comes down to like all of this video content, and the quick looks, I think, do a really good job of showing you what the basic game is about. I mean, I don't think they're supposed to. It's not like a pro strategy video, right? Like not every reviewer is going to be amazing at the games that they review.
Right.
Even.
Exactly.
Certainly, I can look back at my reviewing days, and I probably wasn't very good at most of those games.
You know what, CJ? I watched you play
64.
I watched you play Flintstones Bowling.
You did,
and you weren't good at that game, and I don't think you gave it a fair shake. I think that game may have deserved a little more. Yeah,
that game played itself. You could put the controller down, it would just do whatever it was going to do. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it. More videos, the better. Like, if you don't like the way that they play things, look at other videos. There's no shortage of video content on the web, and for me, I use those videos to see what piques my interest, and then I go seek out other videos.
I think that's a good point.
Of mayhem. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, those videos seem to be more personality-driven videos, but if you're looking for people who are really pros, you'll find that on Twitch.
Exactly. All right, let's do this one from hacker alias P.O. Rowe, who says, do you agree?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, everything's great. I agree.
Okay. Do you agree that it's great that games can receive updates after release, transforming them from good to great?
Converting them from good to great.
I do not agree with that.
No. Ethan
Yeah,
says no.
I would much rather be in a position where I could be confident that those discs 20 years from now can be played without requiring some patch that is now not available. I think about games like The Evil Within, which got shipped pretty much broken and required a day one update. And so I would much rather, if we were in a position where the complete perfect version, or as perfect as it's going to get, came in the box, and we didn't have as much reliance on the updates.
I partially agree with that. The question was about the fact that the games can be updated and made better.
Not going from buggy mess to not
right. And the problem with that is exactly what you're saying, is that the pressure has now become so high to get something out the door so fast, where it's been abused, really, where a lot of games just ship broken. So, but I think that's kind of outside of what the question is asking, at least the way the question was phrased. I think of something like along the lines of, say, Mario Kart 8. I am sure glad that it's possible to download extra tracks and extra characters, and because just made that game even better. It took that game from great to really great. I mean, the game was great no matter what, but I am really glad that we get things like that. Or I look at something like the Forza Horizon games and the packs that they've released for that. I love that we can do that nowadays. But yes, when it gets abused and it ends up being used as an excuse to ship something that's not actually playable, that is a problem.
Yeah, and I'll say also that I do love when you have the archival approach of something like Mario Kart, where there is a definitive version that ultimately comes out that has all that stuff collected. The Game of the Year edition, stuff like that.
That's why they released the new version of Mario Kart, because it was for archival purposes.
No, I'm just saying that you have lots of Game of the Year editions, though, that drop price and give you all the stuff that came out. I like that, that makes it possible still to get that stuff.
Yeah. Have we gotten to the point where on a console system, some game that, like you're saying, shipped with a game-breaking bug that had an update online, where that update has gone offline? Have we had that situation happen yet?
I don't know.
I think you will, obviously, like World of Final Fantasy. You better not want the English narration if you end up popping that in 30 years from now on your Vita.
On the Vita, right.
Honestly, if you're playing World of Final Fantasy on your Vita 30 years from now, you got bigger problems than a patch that's not there.
Yeah, to me, it's going to be interesting to see how Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo handle that kind of thing, right?
It would be good to talk about whatever the solution is for that.
Are these patches going to be there forever? Like, as broadband speeds, as storage costs have gone down from what they were back in the day, and these patch sizes, games released today, obviously the patch sizes are quite large, but when you're talking about 360 PS3 era, those aren't as big, certainly. So does that make it more likely that Microsoft and Sony will keep those servers running, even though those games are not supported? I'm not sure.
Well,
and it's that the Xbox One supports backwards compatibility for a lot of games more likely to keep those types of fixes for those games live longer? I don't know.
It's such a issue also, where I did a backup of all of the updates of all of my Vita games. And again, you got to remember, I have close to 200 of them. And about a third did have updates that I didn't have. And so I ended up archiving those. So I have those stored. But, most people don't bother with that. Understandably, it's a pain in the neck. So, yeah.
But I mean, just to look at it from the other angle here, too, even if we weren't in a situation where a lot of games are sort of knowingly shipped buggy, there's always that chance that something gets through. I mean, it's game development and something can get missed. So I do like the fact that we can fix something like that.
Well, and here's the other thing that we're kind of talking about. I mean, I think the question was probably inspired by the No Man's Sky update that came out this week, where it's adding 30 hours of gameplay and all this other stuff that was not there originally. And transforming a game that got reviewed well enough. There's a lot of buyer's remorse there into like addressing a lot of that feedback with this update. What happens when that goes offline? The disc version of that game will be half the game or less.
Well, and this happens in other mediums
good.
too. You think about what Stephen King has updated The Stand, I think 4 or 5 times now with new content, or bringing back excise content. George Lucas, of course, has updated Star Wars, for better or worse.
Mostly worse.
Actually, speaking of this, though, if anyone hasn't checked it out, the No Clip documentary series for Final Fantasy 14, is it? Yeah, Final Fantasy 14. You can definitely go watch that because it actually has a lot to do with what we're talking about, where they basically reinvented the game. Now, I realize it's an MMO, so it's always online anyway, and you are constantly updating it. But I mean, it's a great example of, a company just making a mistake as far as their development design went and how they fixed it. It's really fascinating. Actually, you should go watch it. No matter
Sounds
what.
interesting.
Yeah, I think you'd actually find it really fascinating, Ethan.
Alrighty, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Unpopular Gaming, who says, have any of you thought up a video game idea that you've always wanted to make but haven't had a chance to?
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Yeah, when I started at Adult Swim, and for years after, and I'm going on about 10 years now at Adult Swim, I always wanted to make a LARPing video game where, I wanted to make an RPG where the characters thought they were on this grand quest, but in reality, they were in the real world, raising all sorts of havoc on real world people and whatnot. But they were under a delusion that they were warriors, and kind of like South Park. South Park did it.
Did it star
later.
Tom Hanks or?
Oh,
That's what you just described.
There you go. Exactly.
What's that movie called?
Didn't make that game, and then South Park Stick of Truth came out that kind of does that. So.
Mazes and Monsters, by the way, if you want to go see a great film.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things, having been creative director at Sega, was that it was my job to not just bring in pitches from other companies and get them best represented to the executive staff, but to have the opportunity to actually present my own pitches as well. And 2 of those actually got made. I was the one who set up the pitch for Super Monkey Ball 2 and Shinobi on 3DS. And again, for better or worse. But then a couple of the ones that I had, none of the ones that I pitched that was an original IP went through. We had a creative director in Europe who had one go through, but then it didn't actually get made as a game after its prototyping. It was that was one of the coolest things, and I don't know if I'll ever be in a position to be able to do that at a company again. But it's neat to be able to pitch and actually have the executive team say yes or no.
Yeah. Phil, got anything?
When I was a kid, I wrote a design document for a sequel to Jungle Hunt.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Jungle Hunt 2.
Oh, okay. It wasn't called Jungle King.
So many ways that could have gone, and I was just like, "Oh my god, what's he gonna say?"
I have actually last summer when I was back at my parents' house digging through my old stuff, I found
Holy crap, the design doc,
35-year-old ripped out pieces of notebook, lined notebook paper with drawings of how the levels would lay out and how each screen would feed into the other one, and descriptions of how enemies would attack you and how you could defeat the enemies and stuff like that. So yeah, Atari, I'm right here. Give me a call, baby.
All right,
what we can do.
That's pretty cool.
There you go.
Hacker alias Luke Film says, after Friday the 13th's asymmetric multiplayer, are there any other films that could lend themselves to interesting new gameplay styles?
Yes, Human Centipede on the Kinect.
Oh god.
Yikes.
I would explain how that would work, Ethan.
Yeah.
Nope, not explaining.
Spare no detail. as well.
Explain it as you would a child.
It would be very similar. You've heard of We Dare, the game that Ubisoft made?
No.
Yeah, I think it was called We Dare. But it's the game that you're supposed to play with
was that
couples.
the game that had you filleting the Wii remote? Something
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
How do I not know
all
about this?
motion control games? Come on.
No.
Yes, it was called We Dare. Yeah, it would be a lot like that.
No. Okay.
Yeah, what you wouldn't want to see is the test department at whatever publisher was making it.
Did that game actually come out? I thought,
No.
it was.
It did come out to my
Canceled.
understanding in Europe. It was not a US one, but look up the
They're
trailer
much
for
more
We
liberal
Dare
in Europe.
sometime, and you'll be
sure.
amused.
Accepting of that. Yeah.
Uh,
I always thought it would be cool to get a Jurassic Park game where you could select different characters and then like basically it'd be
escape
like
the
Night Trap. The thing would run in real time and you'd have to do things at certain times in different areas of the park and you could run through it with different characters and have a completely different experience each
You know
time.
what?
That'd be awesome.
A great license for an asymmetrical multiplayer game would be the Terminator.
Yeah.
That could be
I'm
really
not going to
good.
explain it. I'm just going to say it's the Terminator.
yeah. I'd totally be down with that.
Yes.
Oh, do you remember, as an aside, when Atari did the Terminator 3 official game, and the swag bags that they handed out had these $100 plus sunglasses that people were just like throwing out. They were throwing out the bags. They had no idea what the value of the actual sunglasses were.
I don't remember that. I think
No,
that was
I don't.
after my time.
Yeah. Sorry.
Phil's got a critter in the back of his camera feed.
I do.
Something's moving around back there.
Oh, there's a cat.
my
Well, there
cat.
you go.
Is it your cat or is it just a cat?
A cat.
We left the door open and yeah, whatever strays wander in.
That's how your wife found you, wasn't it?
That's pretty much how it worked.
All right,
So
let's wrap it up with this one from Hacker alias Knee First One, who says, "What's the best song on the Transformers movie soundtrack? They're all great, but I put Dare just ahead of The Touch."
I
No,
would
The
agree with
Touch.
that.
The Touch.
Dare's better.
Dare to believe you can survive.
I guess
I meant Dare to be stupid. Sorry.
No.
Oh,
No.
So
No.
if you're jogging and you're listening to the Transformers soundtrack, what's the one that gives you that extra boost?
You
to
just
get
described
out?
two things I would never do. Do I look like I jog to any soundtrack?
I say
Dare.
The Touch.
Dare is awesome.
Come on.
Dare,
I
Dare's
will-
the best song.
I will say that it seems like a massive missed opportunity that they never revisited those songs, even in the end credits of any of the Transformers movies. Just the fan bait that would be.
I feel like massive missed opportunity kind of describes every of the most
Yeah.
recent Transformer movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the reboot of the reboot that may actually acknowledge the old 80s.
Mm.
Mhm.
Because, the 80s are having a bit of a resurgence here with like the DuckTales show, which is awesome.
I
by
heard
the
it's
way.
great.
Yeah, I just picked up the season pass for that on the
did too.
iTunes, so
I
I
did
got to
too.
watch that. I haven't watched it yet, so I need to. That's probably going to be tonight's viewing.
It's extremely entertaining.
Can't wait. Heard it's
Yes.
good.
Out of the darkness, you stumble into the light. Fighting for the things you know are right. Dare to believe. Come on, how do you like
the friggin' touch? You got the tits. Whatever.
I had
Better
that soundtrack
song.
on cassette tape.
got the power. I have it on
I had
CD.
that.
I'll
I
have
had
you
the
know.
soundtrack to Howard the Duck as
Well,
Thomas Dolby.
I can't support that.
CJ's not down with that alternative life.
name a song off the Howard the Duck soundtrack, Ethan.
Cherry Bomb.
Howard the Duck.
Berry Bomb.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
The-
well, so maybe it's
Like
not
the
that
John
after all.
Cougar Mellencamp song?
No, it wasn't him. It was Leah Thompson singing it.
Well, I know Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson was the only good thing about that movie.
No, it was great overall.
Actually,
Everything
I
was good about
remember
that movie.
really liking that movie when it was on HBO back in the day, but
When it
I've
was
not
on,
seen
yeah.
it since like
was-
1980.
That was one of that movie was in the regular rotation for what we had up here, which was called First Choice.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was one of
Ironically
the
enough,
movies in the regular.
Howard the Duck was nobody's first choice to see.
It is ironic.
Hey, I dressed up in 6th grade as Howard the Duck for Halloween.
I believe
I
it.
am not surprised.
I believe that
And
completely.
did everyone say, "Oh, what an adorable Donald Duck costume"?
Howard the Duck. I'm not Donald.
Yeah, I did have the cigar in the mouth, but that didn't seem to differentiate meaningfully. It was actually a Daffy Duck costume that we had to paint white.
Wow.
You sound like a high maintenance. You sound like
You could have gone for the Donald Duck costume.
you were a high maintenance kid.
You had to freaking whitewash a Donald Duck.
Just imagine your parents like, Jesus, we have to do what now? Why can't he just be a freaking vampire like a normal kid?
You're like Hollywood casting the Howard the Duck movie. You gotta whitewash everything, don't you? Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mom. I'm your cherry bomb.
There you go. See?
Were you walking around school screaming that so everyone would know you weren't Donald?
No.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
I'm working on the prize fighter one this week.
Woo, nice. You'll find Generation 16 episodes as they appear.
Episode 110 is going live on Monday for $3 patrons and live on general release the following Monday.
Excellent. You'll find show notes for all of our episodes that include relevant links, including a link to Scoop Fest information and tickets. Remember, you can save 10% by using the promo code Baldness. So that'll be awesome. You'll pick up those tickets, and we will see you in Vegas in September, because it'll be nice and cool in Vegas in September.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what else we got on our website. There's one of them message boards where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can invest $1.99.
Cheap.
Pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. Get you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch archives of our show and check us out live most weeks on the youtube.com/P1 Podcast. And if you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It keeps Ethan in obscure 80s soundtracks.
Yep.
On cassette tape.
On cassette
Hey,
tape.
I had Beverly Hills Cop 2 as well.
There you go.
That was a good soundtrack. I had that.
Do you have the Solar Babies soundtrack? Because
I do not.
No.
Do you have
Sorry.
the Explorers soundtrack?
No, did you?
Oh.
Do you have the Spaceballs soundtrack?
No, I had Indiana Jones.
You didn't have anything good. You know what? This conversation's over.
And if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com. Throw a few bucks. You'll find the Patreon link to help support Greg Seward's fantastic, recently renovated web series about North America's favorite Sega banana, the Sega Genesis.
Yes, please.
It's awesome. New episode coming studio.
It has a great song too.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. CJ,
Yeah.
How was MST?
It was fantastic. It was very, very funny. I don't know how I was an MST fan for all these years and had never seen Ega, but
It's weird, man.
that was the case. And so saw that in the theater last night, and it was absolutely fantastic with a bunch of new riffs. And they did a special, super special secret show thing with another movie at the after the first run thing. So, and that was great as well. The surprise film.
On the pantheon of Richard Kiel films, where would you say that Ega lies?
Right up there at the top.
Really? With what? Quick, name another Richard Kiel film.
One of them Bond movies. I don't know.
Which one?
Moonraker.
From Russia with Love.
Where he played the character.
Was he in Russia with Love?
Octopussy.
Jaws.
No, he did not play Octopussy.
He was Jaws.
Yeah, he was Jaws.
I don't remember. I haven't seen the Bond movies in a long time. Anyway,
CJ, you gotta watch the Bond movies again, man.
Yeah.
He was also in Happy Gilmore, if you remember that. I know
he
you're
was
big.
irritated in Happy Gilmore, if I remember.
Yeah, he wanted to murder Shooter McGavin.
Is he the one that eats pieces of shit for breakfast?
Shooter McGavin? Sure is.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure is. I will have, you know what? I have to admit to liking an Adam Sandler movie, and that Adam Sandler movie.
No, there was a time when Adam Sandler didn't make absolutely terrible movies.
Yeah, I liked Happy Gilmore.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I liked Happy Gilmore. Greg,
Hi.
thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Phil.
It was nice to see you. It's going to be nice to be next to you in Vegas.
All that heat.
Radiating.
Right.
How will we stand it?
Well,
I don't know.
yeah. Ethan,
Yeah.
when you were younger watching Howard the Duck with your family, how uncomfortable was it when that duck got her tits out?
You know, it's funny you mention it because Natalie and I have wanted to watch that movie with the kids, but
What?
that and Play Duck are the reasons we have not.
Wait.
That's the reason you haven't watched it with your kids?
Nancy and I want to watch this movie with our kids, but we know the state would take away our children if we subjected them to Howard the Duck. Is what you meant to say, right?
No, I think they'd like it were it not for
Really?
the.
Really? You think your children would enjoy Howard the Duck?
When's the last time you saw it?
Too
it
recently.
Ages well. It ages like fine wine.
Does it?
Tim Robbins, Leah Thompson. Yeah.
It ages like rancid Kool-Aid, man. That's not good. It's not good for you.
It's pretty good.
Yeesh, why would you do that to your kids? You could be showing your kids good movies. Have your children seen Citizen Kane yet?
No.
Well, then show them Citizen Kane. They would love it. It's one of the best films ever made.
It's all about sledding, isn't it?
Mostly. Mostly the end. You know what? Speaking of having our own ideas for video games, I once had an idea for a Citizen Kane video game that would basically be like the minecart stages in Donkey Kong, except you're on the sled. And you would throw newspapers
Rosebud.
You would throw newspapers to attack your enemies.
You'd have to collect the letters for Rosebud.
Can we end the show?
No.
Yeah, it was just like it'd be like Bubble Bobble where you had to collect the letters, but it had to spell Rosebud.
You get an extra guy. You get a free guy.
Get a free guy.
If you spell Rosebud on your minecart.
I smell a Kickstarter coming on.
I agree.
Oh.
Okay. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
So long, jerks.
Next week?
So long, Screwy. See you in St. Louis.
Or Vegas.
Or
Bye.
Vegas. Well, we're not going to be in Vegas next week.
Oh, that's true.
But
I'll be at
it's
PAX
coming.
West pretty soon.
I'll be at PAX West. Yeah.
That's right.
Can you get me into PAX West?
No.
We'll work on it.
Probably not. We'll work on it.
Yeah,
We'll
work on
work on it. He
you
said
won't.
no. Yeah, what you wanted there from CJ was
Probably.
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 We'll see.
I-
We'll see.
Looks
I
like
have
you're going to PAX West.
I have your ticket right here, but probably.
Probably.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay, folks. So long.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Broadcast stopped.
Okay.
What number was that?
Sport audio.
Yeah, what's